Hi guys, it's Blackie and welcome back to the Percussion series. Okay, today we're going to be shooting, not sighting in, but we're going to be shooting in my 51 Navy Squareback we've been following. Now the object of the game here is this is a brand new, never fired, and so therefore when we pull the trigger the first time, several things are going to happen. One, everything's going to stretch and pull and get into position. You know, because the shock of firing is going to stress everything to a position. And it's kind of got to wear in a little bit to get the maximum accuracy out of it. It's got to stabilize. And between now and the first, say, 25 rounds is going to be the big change of it stretching in. Just like you break in a car motor or anything else that's brand new. You fire it up, you let it run a minute before you ever start adjusting it. But we're not even going to begin to do any kind of sighting or anything until the gun has had a chance to settle in. The only thing I have done is I have squared the rear notch so my old eyes can see it a little bit better. Now, to begin with, I have heavily lubed the base pin and I have heavily lubed the barrel with my gun butter, which is a black powder lubricant we came up with. Now this is kind of like a paste, and so once I rub it down in that barrel, it's a good lubricant. But more importantly, the rifling is brand new, which means that as I fire it, those first rounds going down are going to lap the barrel, commonly called in the industry fire lapping. I fire lapped long-range precision rifles and 30-06 and everything else years ago when I built custom guns, because when they create the rifling, they cut that rifling, it's a little bit sharp, but then as it wears in that first couple of rounds, it's going to take off those sharp edges. Think about the wire edge on a knife when you're sharpening it, you get like a wire edge. Well, rifling can have a little bit of a wire edge from the manufacturing process. This will eliminate it, take it out. By heavily lubricating it, it will make sure I get minimum friction so that the ball goes down the barrel, takes any of those little metal shavings that may come off the edge of that rifling with it on down the bore and gone. At the end of 5 rounds, I will run a bore brush with lube back up through it to clean out anything. I'm not trying to truly clean the barrel. I'm just trying to keep lubrication and keep from any of those fine metallic particles staying in the bore and scratching it up. I want them to go and get out of here. So the lubricant and the firing will get rid of that. Okay? Okay, the first load that I fire out of this is going to be round ball. We're going to be using 375 home cast round ball of pure lead, and we'll be using 3F Go X black powder. After that, I will be shifting to my pre-made up cartridges. Now, in earlier videos I've talked about on this channel, in this playlist series, I've talked about how to carry in the field. And these are Dixie tubes. They're small vinyl tubes. I have a pre-measured amount of powder in here, 17 grains, and then I just press the ball into it. If you want to carry wads, what you do is you press the ball in and then you put the wad on the end of it, and therefore you can carry that in the field. This is not truly waterproof, but very water resistant, and so it's a lot less likely to get damaged out here in the field, like paper cartridges and etc. We have been spoiled by shooting a modern cartridge gun with brass cased ammunition, and so we're used to just pulling one out of a pocket or a box and throwing it into the gun. Our ancestors didn't have that, and so they had various means. They had the compressed, hard compressed ones, they had the skin made ones, and they also had paper cartridges and a few variations of that, and they had loose powder and ball as well. I prefer the Dixie tubes. You can get them from Dixie Gun Works and just look in their Dixie tubes and it'll bring you to, there's all kinds of sizes. The 36 is the white ones and the yellow ones are 44 caliber. And they got a long for rifle and a short for pistol. I've been using them 20 plus years, and some that I bought 25 years ago I'm still using, so they last a good long time. Now let's talk about the target. Okay, as you can see, I've got a nice big target. I'm going to be at 10 yards. And I have put a V right there into that orange dot because that's what I want to aim for. I want to put my front sight and my sight picture right there on the point of that V, a very focused point. Now, realizing that whenever I start shooting this, it's not going to group. It's more like going to pattern like a shotgun. As that rifling's wearing in, as the base pin is stretching into proper position, as all the metal stuff is kind of getting into its groove, so to speak, it's going to change pretty radically. That's the reason I'm not even going to worry about trying to sight in. The order of operations is you get the gun mechanically ready to go, you come out and you fire it to get it shot in, then we will figure out where the pattern is. How high, left, right, whatever. We're not adjusting sights yet. The last thing I will do is I will use this hole as my aiming point and shoot a 3-shot group with those 17 grain charges to see if I can do a group with it then, after I have fired the full 18, 3 full cylinders all the way around. That will give me an opportunity to A, see how bad of a cap jammer it is, B, get an idea where it shoots left or right, etc. After this, the next function we would be doing would be load development. We will find what it likes, which size round ball, what kind of conical or whatever, what powder charge to produce the smallest groups. Then we modify the sights to move that group to where we want it to hit on the target. Don't adjust sights and then find out later that it's settled in and it actually is now hitting way over here to the left or something. Learn from me, or more correctly I should say, learn from my mistakes. I had a beautiful presentation blue 1860 Army with ivory grips that I got one time. It came from Navy Arms and it was a big showpiece that they were doing. I wanted a real pretty one. I wanted me a barbecue gun. And I got it out of the box, and my first 5 rounds grouped well. I worked out the load, and by probably 25 rounds I had created a good group, and I'm adjusting sights. I'm filing sights and everything to move that group where I wanted it. And then over the next 50 rounds it moved, and I could never correct it because I'd already taken off metal for that. So don't be in a hurry to adjust your sights. Get the gun functioning. 2, develop the load. Experiment. Now's the time. Don't just do one and done. No. Try the conicals. Try the real bullet. Try whatever. The Arizgon bullets. Find whatever you can find that will work with it, and the powder charges. Try Pyrodex. Try 2F. Try 3F. Try Swiss. Find out that sweet spot. And then when you do, that's what you adjust the sights to. Okay? Alright, let me get set up, get loaded, and we're going to be shooting in just a minute. Okay, eyes and ears time. Alright, I'm going to be at 7 yards. I'm going to be firing at the target. I'm not going to force you to sit there for the boring part of firing. I'll just let you watch the first 6 go round, and then I'll turn the camera off, shoot all of it, and then we'll look at the target then and review it. So, here we go. Let me restart for the microphone. Okay, a lot of times the boom of the firing will knock the microphone out, so I restarted. But hey, for a first group, this is starting to look pretty good. Now I'm out at the Tri-State gun range. I'm a member out here, so this is on the gun range. But very first time it ever shot, that was my aiming point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, that ain't too bad for 6 shots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pretty good start. I'm shocked. It was the point of aim wasn't way high. Pietta's really come up, but again, this is the initial. We just fired. Now we're going to shoot some more, and we're going to see where the group goes, and we'll see. I'll be back in a minute. Man, I love you guys. It is 80 or 90% humidity right now. I am soaked with sweat. Everything is sweat's just running into my eyes. Yeah, smoke's still hanging in the air. Here is the results. Okay, this is 19 of the 21. I had a wild flyer down there. I think it was a little bit of a low charge. When I fired it, it felt a little low, so it may have been just a flutter like that. But there's all of them. I mean, one big ragged hole. That was my point of aim, and all of them were right there at 7 yards. Then I loaded up 3, and I aimed for that dot, and that's 3 holes. That's 2 through one hole and 1 there. So that is the very first firing of this. To Pieta, well done. It is hitting to the sights out of the box. I'm used to 18 or 19 or a foot high. This one is hitting the point right out of the box. With the very first load was a maximum load, and it was hitting exactly to the sights. The rest of these loads are 15 grain charges, which was about 10 grains less than the maximum load, and yet it's still hitting. My gun butter did just fine. After 20 rounds, she's still spinning. Of course, she's unloaded, free spinning. So, let us review. You get a brand new gun, you clean it thoroughly. Second thing you do, break it apart like I showed you. Check to make sure for burrs, things inside you wasn't supposed to be there, whatever, because it is a mass production process and you never know. 3, when we come to the range the first time, we're going to shoot it in. We're going to lube the barrel heavily with some sort of good lubricant. I like my gun butter. And yes, in the description box, I'll tell you where to go get gun butter at. Lube the base pin fairly heavily. Now, not a single cap jam. Pieta's got the nipples right again, where that hole is not so big that the back pressure is just blowing down in here and fouling it up. And that's after 20 rounds on that hammer right there. That's not bad. I have seen guns that'd be just cake solid, and it got to where it was not reliably firing because there was so much fouling in there. The hammer was soft landing because it built up and was pulling the hammer back, so to speak. Did fine. Shot the point of sights. All I have done to it was widen that notch out and make a square out of it instead of a V so my old eyes could see it. But she is shooting to point of aim out of the box. That eliminates 10 steps. But I have done that in previous videos, so you can go back and look at my playlist and see where I sighted in Stormborn and stuff like that, and I talk about how to adjust the sights and etc. So I've covered that. Now we're going to do load development because she's showed me now she's accurate. So now I have to do load development. I'm using 375 round balls. She seems to like it. I will try 380, see if it improves, if it detracts. I will try conicals, all of the various ones, and I will have on my book, because I keep a book for every gun I've got, I will list the loads, what kind of powder, and etc. When I get the load that just seems to be the load, then I'll tweak the sights a little bit to fit that load perfectly, and it will shoot to point of aim. Because I want this for a field revolver, something I'm actually going to carry in the field for use, not just a target thing, not just a novelty. As if you follow my channel, you know I actually carry one of these whenever I go, a lot of times camping or stuff like that. Have since I was a teenager. I like the challenge of it, and this is just as effective as anything else within reason of its limits. So for small game, personal defense against something that might want to bite me, that and I have hunted with these for bunnies. This would be a good bunny buster right now. I haven't tried it at longer range yet, and we'll see how it performs out to 25 yards. so I know where I got to aim to bust a bunny with it for hunting. Because a February morning after deer season is ended and it's cold and that blowing, and walking through the sage fields right at dawn looking for them bunnies sitting there, yeah, that's a favorite thing of Blackie's. Hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please hit that like, share, and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Till next time, guys, I'm Blackie wishing you safe journeys. Have a great day, guys.